Hello lads, lassies, and those of unspecified gender. It's the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if Goku married everybody. Now, this is more so just a title to keep in line with a few other what-ifs I've made. Goku is not going to be marrying every single woman in the Dragon Ball universe in a traditional sense. He'll more so be repopulating the Saiyan race with them. But more on that later. For now, let's get into the story of this what if. Our story begins not too dissimilar from the original one, as Gohan would be taking a stroll around his local forest in front of his home. A ship would crash in front of him, outstepping a young boy. Kakarot, instead of being wistful and curious at the new domain he has entered, would instead be eager to learn and explore all of this planet's culture, and its women. Now, obviously here, Goku would have increased hormones, but alongside that, he would also have increased S-cells. Not only is he longing to indulge in beautiful women, but he also wants a good fight. So he would rush at Grandpa Gohan, looking to scratch that itch. But somehow, the Master, in the Turtle Hermit style, would be able to fight back. This is surprising, as Earthlings weren't typically supposed to be able to compare to the might of the Saiyans. But keep in mind, Goku is still relatively young at this point, so handling a child, yeah, Grandpa Gohan can do that. Realizing he probably won't be able to beat Gohan in a one-on-one fight, Goku would request to be taught by this legendary figure. He must be the strongest Earthling on Earth if this is even possible for him to contest with the almighty Saiyan race, and Gohan would laugh this off. He's a kid. He obviously doesn't understand that he isn't invincible. So Gohan would decide to teach him. He definitely shows promise, and it's worth a shot, and it could be pretty fun. It's not like Gohan has that much going on anyway. And from that day forward, Goku's training would begin. He would learn the Turtle Hermit style, as well as increasing his overall power level by a decent amount. For the purposes of this story, we're going to say that Goku has a scouter, and can use it to actually scan his own power level in comparison to Gohan's. I don't believe we were ever given any real confirmation on Gohan's power level, but we'll say it's around 80. Only because he was able to fight against Goku post-Roshi training at Baba's Palace, but was still killed by a Great Ape Goku, while the Ozaru only had a power level of around 100, seeing his base Goku's power level was 10 before transforming. Goku, being a Saiyan, would be able to reach this same power level of around 80 relatively quickly, seeing as he would continue training and want to reach the same level as this legendary figure of Earth. And then, after defeating Gohan, he would say he's going to go find other strong people to fight. And Gohan would actually send him in the direction of Mutan Roshi, the person who taught Grandpa Gohan. So, Goku's on his way. He would encounter Roshi on his island, and be surprised at the Turtle Hermit's strength. It's incredible. He's so strong. Although, Goku would still be able to find a way to catch up to him as well. This actually wouldn't be super difficult, seeing as Goku, post-Roshi's training, was actually able to fight somewhat on par with Jackie Chan, which, as most of us know, is just Master Roshi. So, Goku here would be around that same strength and be able to beat Roshi too. Now, being one of the strongest people on Earth, he would look for another way to get even more powerful. He would eventually meet Corin, after climbing up the Lookout's pole and talking to the Cat Master. After talking with Corin for a bit, as well as training with him to get that Ultra Divine Water, well, Goku would get even stronger, although still not strong enough to satisfy him, so he would climb even further, which Corin would allow. And then, meeting Kami, Goku's training would begin even sooner than ever. Kakarot here would have a power level of around 550, similar to what Goku had at the end of OG Dragon Ball. but Kakarot's only 7, well, as Goku was around 18 years old. This is pretty crazy, but makes sense seeing as Goku didn't know he was a Saiyan, and had a lot of other things than just training and fighting to do. Well, granted, not a lot of other things, but still, he went on adventures and journeys and had other exploits, things he was into other than just training and eating. But as we know with Vegeta, Saiyans were mostly just into those two things. Granted, Kakarot also here would be into women, but that's a hurdle that he can't exactly pursue right now. Goku's only about 7 years old right now, so yeah, it's not exactly prime dating season for him just yet. And I am going to continue to say Goku and Kakarot, as Kakarot would know his name is, well, Kakarot, but he would still decide to use Goku as sort of like a Earthling title. That's what the people on Earth will call him, while his name is still Kakarot. Now, after realizing that Kami's training won't do much for him, Goku would look for alternative ways to grow in strength. But Kami would suggest something different. Not King Kai's training, Goku would probably have to be dead for that, but instead, the Room of Spirit and Time. Not only would allow him to grow incredibly quickly in terms of power, but he could also stop that whole age problem. He could increase his overall age far quicker, although there is still the problem of the 3-year time limit, but Kami could probably remove that. So Goku is actually super hyped for it. He would go in, and even though it's incredibly difficult, keep in mind, Goku tried to go into the room at the beginning of his training in the original. Here, it's at the end of his training, so it's still difficult for him to be in there, but he would still try and persevere. And he would actually be able to, as this Goku doesn't really have much else to do aside from train, so why not just spend all of his time trying to master this whole Room of Spirit and Time thing? And after a while, he is actually able to adjust. The 10 times gravity isn't too much, as he was born on a planet with that much gravity, so to him, it's basically something he should already naturally be able to do. Even if he isn't at first, it does feel like something he should be able to. And with the harsh and adjusting climate, Goku could be able to adjust as well. After a while, the entire atmosphere of the room just seems natural, and Goku can train for as long and as hard as he wants. 16 years would pass, as Kami would find a way to adjust the time chamber to allow for more than just 3 years inside. If Dende could do it with much less experience, Kami could as well. 14, long on the inside, short on the outside, years would pass, and Goku would be at 20 years old, as well as incredibly powerful. But that 20-year-old marker is probably a bit more important, as it means Goku is now eligible to start his repopulation journey. If you are curious about how strong Goku would be here, let's say he has a power level of around 14 to 15,000. The only reason for this being that Goku is a low-class Saiyan, and most low-class Saiyans have a power level of around 2 to 3,000, as well as the fact that most of them rarely ever got above 10,000 despite the fact they were doing incredibly grueling training every single day by going out and conquering planets. Yeah, sure, Goku did some pretty life-threatening work inside of the Room of Spirit and Time, but I doubt it was as intense as most low-class Saiyans. So even though this does seem a bit low considering what Goku was able to achieve in the original, this is actually quite high for what Goku probably would achieve through any means of training that he has access to at the moment. The Room of Spirit and Time is a very effective tool, which is the only reason I gave him this incredible power anyway. Now, moving outside of the training aspect, let's talk about how Goku goes about actually finding mates or potential partners to help him repopulate. Goku would spend the next year looking around the planet for the most attractive as well as strong body-wise women. That way he would be able to breed with them and create the best and most effective children. This might seem like a bit of an inhumane process, judging and selecting women and then breeding with them to create the most effective children, but nobody ever said repopulation would be easy or humane. Now, these women would actually agree to this and enjoy it, as they would be treated like goddesses, and hey, being the parent to the most powerful people on the planet doesn't exactly sound too bad. And for the goddess's part, well, Goku would probably be promoted to Guardian of Earth and wouldn't reject the position, so they kind of would be goddesses in a sense. They would be brought into the Room of Spirit and Time, where the quote-unquote repopulation process would commence, and then spend 9 months in there while they are pregnant. That way, the baby as well as the mother can properly adjust to harsh conditions like 10 times gravity or a strict climate. That way, not only the mother but also the child will be powerful the second the child is born. Every person I select to be a part of the women's side of this will be highballed or lowballed to around Goku's age. Android 18 and 21 would be the first up on the metaphorical chopping block, as I feel like they are two somewhat prominent figures as well as recognizable in the Dragon Ball universe, and I think it'd be pretty interesting to have those two be a part of this. 18 because she was the first person in the What If Goku Married series, and Android 21 because she could help modify the children as well as Goku using biotechnology to help make sure that they are the strongest they could possibly be from a biological standpoint. Next up would be Videls Mother, or basically just Videl. The reason I'm having it be Videls Mother instead of Videl herself is because I feel like having Goku marry who was basically his daughter-in-law would be kind of creepy, even if we were to change the age range a bit. So we're going to have it be Videls Mother, that way it's a little less weird. Yes, technically this basically is just Goku's sister-in-law, but hey, Gohan does not exist yet, so that relationship isn't happening. Therefore, Videls' mom, who's basically just Videl, is fair game. Now, the moment you have all probably been dreading if you thought about it. Fortune teller Baba. Oh god. Okay, so like I said, I would be reverting all of their ages to somewhere around Goku, but considering how old Fortune teller Baba is, that just doesn't work. So instead, we're going to say it's Fortune teller Baba's great-great-great-granddaughter, who practices in magic as well, and therefore would be able to still repopulate, I'm using air quotes, with Goku, and then have a magical child, which would be incredibly useful to bolstering the Saiyan race. And our fifth and final woman Goku would be using to help repopulate his species would be Mrs. Briefs, and we're not changing her age at all, because here at the Irishman Incorporated we do believe in MILF supremacy. I am legally obligated to inform you that is not my joke, although I am not legally obligated to inform you of whose joke it is, so have fun with that. And after around a month, Goku has 3 children with each and every one of the 5 women, and Mr. Briefs, that he has brought into the time chamber. Now, with 15 kids by his side, he would have all of them go out and find people to mate with and then repopulate further. And once every child of his own has bred with another person, he would have each of his kids go into the Room of Spirit and Time with their spouse. That way, either the pregnant wife or pregnant self would be able to have the baby much quicker, as well as, like I said before, maintaining the 10 times gravity adjustment right away. And once the time has passed and every baby has popped out, Goku would gather the Dragon Balls, wishing on them to have each and every one of his descendants be full-blooded Saiyans, rather than half or quarter breeds, as well as the spouses. That way the number of Saiyans has increased drastically. You might say this is a bad decision because half-blooded Saiyans are superior to full-blooded Saiyans, at least in terms of potential and growth, but honestly I'd like to argue that by saying Android 21 would be able to study what gives hybrid Saiyans that same boost, and now give it to each and every full-blooded Saiyan there, which is just every Saiyan there. Now, with every single Saiyan having this modified boost, as well as being given android or cybernetic upgrades from Android 21, who would have that kind of technology, not only because of her own intelligence, but also Dr. Briefs who would be there, well, the Saiyan army is incredibly powerful. Now, with a century of progress made in a matter of months, Goku would slow down a bit, deciding to focus on the individual power of each Saiyan rather than actually increasing the numbers. He would still definitely be increasing the numbers of his race, although that wouldn't be his main priority at the moment. He would be having Android 21 Dr. Briefs work tirelessly on actually creating enhanced cybernetic upgrades to make each Saiyan more powerful. And it works flawlessly, as the cybernetic upgrades that were given to 17 and 18 would basically be scrap metal in comparison to what Android 21 and Dr. Briefs would be able to make together. Working full time, they would make such powerful cybernetics that, well, really even Cell looked like a joke. Then you give that same upgrade to Saiyans who have been raised in the Room of Spirit and Time and trained tirelessly, well, we have a pretty unstoppable army with Kakarot at the helm. And this only becomes even more apparent when Goku learns how to access Super Saiyan. And that's where we're going to be ending things for today. I hope you all enjoyed watching this, as I certainly enjoyed making it, and if you could, please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell, that way you're notified whenever I release any new videos. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you all so very much for watching. This is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later. Bye.